Japan Prime Minister Takaichi made a comment on Taiwan. Thereafter, China was angry and then responded aggressively, put trade sanctions, so on and so forth. And thereafter, Japan said to put missiles on an island near Taiwan. And China battleships are mobilized. Japan and China are on the brink of a war, World War III. Hi, Leslie Khoo here. Well, there won't be any war. China and Japan, they don't want war. The US as well. That's why the calls between Chinese President Xi Jinping and US President Trump took place. Thereafter, President Trump talked to Japan Prime Minister Takaichi. So basically, the phone to Japan from US is to tell, okay, it's enough. No, you're better tone down. So that's why there won't be any war, even though it looks like it is going to be World War III. China, it doesn't want war. It wants to focus on economy, investment, technology investment, technology advancement. It doesn't want war, especially when if it were to happen, it's going to be at its doorstep. Definitely it doesn't want war. Japan, it doesn't want war because it knows it can never beat the current China. If it goes to war with China, the outcome would have been totally different compared to 1937 to 1945. So Japan also doesn't want war. The current military strength cannot match that of China. As for US, likewise, it doesn't want war. It's not in its interest. What it wants is the status quo for China and Taiwan. Just maintain as is it now, so that the US can continue to sell weapons to Taiwan. So all these three parties, they don't want war at all. The latest development, China, it has shown the world how aggressive and how far it would go if it is about Taiwan. So don't mix with me. This is how I would respond. The US. The US now know how aggressive China would be when it's about Taiwan. So it is helpful for the US in the future when it's deal with China. And on top of that, by talking to Japan, after talking to China, likely that is to ask Japan to tone down. So this gives the US some buffer, or rather some ammunition, for their future discussions and dealing with China. It's like, give me some slack because I'm helping you to tone down Japan's act pertaining to Taiwan. Something like that. And Japan, well, it has the most to lose. First of all, it has no chance to change Article 9 of its constitutions, meaning it can never have a full-fledged army, infantry, navy, or air force. Okay? The US will not allow. Why would US allow that? Because dealing with China is a headache already. Why would it want to deal with two Asian powers? And it knows Japan can rise to become another Asian power if it allows to have its own military, if it allows to develop further on its own technology. So it's not in the US interest. That's why the US will never allow Japan to change Article 9 of its constitution. And this is one. And number two, Japan has angered China. I see China as Japan's best bet to revive its economy. If you look at it, it has been working hand in hand with the US and the West for decades. What does it have in terms of benefits, advantages? Just look at the Plaza Accord, signed in 1985. Japan, I'm sure Japanese will still remember the pain that this agreement brought to the country. A lost decade. That's what we have been saying about this era of Japan after the Plaza Accord. That's why, in general, Japan has lost the most. It should not have done that. It should not have played the Taiwan card. Well, on behalf of the usual suspect. What it should focus is economy. Right? Tied up or work with China instead of anger China. At the current moment, at this juncture, China is, I believe, is the best partner for Japan. Of course, Japan will have to balance between China and the US. So for the military, Japan can tell the USA that, well, okay, I will not change Article 9. I will allow US troops to be stationed in Japan, so on and so forth. But on the economy side, Japan should team up or tie up with China and revive its economy. The focus for Japan's politician now is make sure people have jobs. People have affordable food. People have low inflation risks. People have affordable housing. That's what the Japanese voters want. And that's what Japan should focus on at this moment. No more geopolitical conflicts, economy. That's what Japan should focus on. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.